Western Conference team at plus 210. And the Nuggets are next at 12-1, followed by the Lakers at 16-1, and then the Warriors and the Grizzlies. Okay, looking at our rook over here, Rudy Gay, you're up first. How many legit contenders are there in the West?
Legit contenders. Only one. I believe it's only one really legit contender, and that's the Denver Nuggets. They've been there. Jokic is having a great year. Like, like his numbers are insane. Like, we keep on trying to find a new person to put at the top for MVPs. It's like he can't win another MVP. Like, and his stats keep getting better. I just honestly think Coach Malone is a great coach, and I just think they've been there. They've been to the mountaintop, and they know how to get back there. They might have a couple shortcomings during the season, but I think if any team knows how to turn it on, it'll be this.
You're not an OKC believer?
Not yet.
Stephen A?
Shout out to Mark, though.
Yeah.
UConn Huskies.
Legit contenders in the Western Conference, I'm going to say probably 5.
5?
I think okay.
5.
Okay, so Rudy says 1 and you have 5.
That's right.
All right,
That's
this is a discrepancy. Let's break it down.
Well, let me tell you why. Because a whole bunch of people can beat everybody. We saw Minnesota come back from a 25-point deficit and beat the #1 seed in the West, OKC, the other day. We saw that, right? I'm looking at OKC. We got to put Denver because of Jokic, right? LeBron and Luka, we can't summarily dismiss that, right? That's 3 right there, okay? And I'm also looking at the Golden State Warriors in the 8th slot. I'm not summarily dismissing them because I've seen what they've been since Jimmy Butler has arrived, as I pointed out, Rudy, when I talked about Jimmy Butler being an entirely different element than Klay Thompson would bring you. Klay Thompson is a sniper, similar to Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler is not that kind of player, but gets to the basket, definitely gets to the free throw line at a +9 clip. And as a result, that ranks like 6th in the NBA in terms of the average amount of free throws he takes per game since he's been in Golden State. I'm looking at all of those things spelling to some degree for a Steph Curry, for a Draymond Green, which makes them both formidable, more formidable in doing what they do. Steph Curry's case scoring and moving without the basketball. Draymond Green in terms of his intensity, his energy, his defensive prowess. I'm thinking about Golden State. And last but not least, I'm going to say Dallas. I didn't even mention Minnesota yet. Maybe I should, the way Anthony Edwards and what he's capable of. But definitely Dallas. And let me tell you why Dallas. Because y'all keep looking at Dallas without Anthony Davis and Daniel Gafford. They're both expected back. And when those brothers get back, and you got Kyrie and Clay and PJ, I'm sorry. The Dallas Mavericks can make some noise. And they could come out of the West, too. And they got Christie from the L.A. trade. I'm telling you right now, sleep on them if you want to. I got those 5 with Minnesota as an honorable mention. I could have made a case for 6 because they all could beat each other.
Not to cut you off, I don't think any of them have what Denver has. And that's continuity. There's so many trades and stuff going on. This Denver team has known each other. They've played with each other. They've put in a couple players, but they do not have. Shout out to Russell Westbrook.
They also lost to Minnesota last year.
And they have lost, and they've also won a championship. So,
2 years ago.
Yeah, well, with the same players, same core. And you have Jamal Murray, who was a better player, who's playing better. He's getting better, coming off that injury he had. I do think they're a legit contender.
I'm not sold on Memphis and Houston. Houston because of their youth and Memphis because of their shooting.
Neither of you guys are going to be welcome in Memphis, including former Grizzlies great Rudy Gay.
That's right.
Let me just say, I was talking to Western Conference GM yesterday, one of these teams, and he says to me, I know Oklahoma City's finishing first. I have no idea who's finishing 2 through 9. I have no idea where we're going to finish 2 through 9. I was talking to a Western Conference head coach yesterday, one of the coaches of these teams, and he goes, here's the thing. None of us fear each other. We all think we can beat each other, but we all know that we're all flawed in some ways and we can get beaten. So I think from a fan's perspective, this is very exciting. From the question that you've got here, how many teams do I think can actually win it? I think I got a list of 4, and that list is growing. A couple of weeks ago, guys, I would have been right with Rudy, and I would have said Denver, and absolutely Oklahoma City. I feel like I'm one of the few people on the national stage who's defending the Thunder, who I think are an awesome team and remain my favorite, although I think it's going to get hairy for them. But I'm watching the Lakers and how they're defending, and I can't ignore it. I can't ignore this defense. Now, if I watch them over the next few weeks, and Stephen A., you might want to watch this weekend, the Clippers are playing at the Lakers twice, and you know Ty Lue is one of the best game planners. Somebody's got to take advantage of this interior weakness on the Lakers, but nobody has so far. So I'm watching the Lakers, who've been the #1 defense in the league for 6 weeks. 6 weeks, not 6 games, 6 weeks. I got to pay attention to that. And then listen, whatever you want to say about Draymond Green, the other day he says, I think we can win the championship. And people laughed at him. And then he came back again and he said, no, you heard what I said. I doubled down on that. And the reason he's saying that is because of what he feels with his team, but also what he looks in the West. So I'm looking and paying attention to those two teams. Those are sort of on my watch list. With the opportunity, I could move it to more, Stephen A. I could feel that way about the Mavericks after a few more weeks when AD comes back.
See, exactly. Windy caged it perfect because Stephen A. could make some noise is not the same as a legit contender. Windy at least recognizes there are some teams that he's going to be watching that could, but that are not necessarily legit contenders. I'm with you that I think there are 4. I think there are 2 no-brainers that are legit contenders, that being the Nuggets for the aforementioned reasons, and also OKC, right? Because they got better from last year. They added more defense. Hartenstein and Caruso have been great. And they also, what did they lack last year? What was the thing that we kept saying? It prevented us from being full-throated about whether they could actually win. It was their lack of experience, because entering the season last year, SGA had played 13 games in the playoffs. Lou Dort had played 6, and the rest of their starters hadn't played any. So they've got at least another run under their belt. But I'm also with you on the Lakers, and I'm sorry. Like, I know you sort of mentioned them and said the shooting is an issue, but I'm looking at the Grizzlies too. I'm looking at the team that's currently sitting at number 2 in the Western Conference that has Ja Morant not playing to Ja Morant levels, not playing very much at all, in fact. I think he's averaging less than 28 points per game. Jaren Jackson, their leading scorer, also averaging under 30 points per game. I'm looking at a team right now that it appears is being very strategic about when and how they are using their stars, and I don't think they're anything to sleep on when we're talking about this potential postseason run. I could see it. And I see that you agree.
My name is not Brian Windhorst. My lingo is not the same as his. When I say you can make some noise as it pertains to this discussion coming out of us, that's what I'm talking about as a contender. They can make some noise, okay? And you get that look from me, so I ain't mad about it. I admire it. Way to go. Imitation is the best form of flattery. Bottom line is this. I meant what I said. Those teams, those 5 teams could make some noise. Any of them could come out of the West. Any of them.
Rudy, after hearing all them, why are you still stuck just on Denver?
Because they've been there. I mean, you could say whatever you want. I think all these guys are just fighting to be where they've been with the same team. I'm really sold on Jamal Murray being healthy, Jokic being Jokic, and you know, everybody around knowing their role. I honestly think they're capable of making another run. And by the way, we're talking about Draymond. What else do we expect Draymond to say? Like, he's going to say,
wait a minute.
He does that every year.
Wait. Let's defend Draymond in this way. I mean, you talking about Denver winning 1 title. Dre got 4. So if you're gonna believe in Denver, why can't you believe in Draymond? That's number 1. That's number 1. And number 2, you listening to this man talking about, he act like we didn't see Denver go home in the second round last year. And was it me? I saw him go home. Did you see him go home?
Everybody has to go home at some point. Everybody has to go home at some point, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. 5 teams can come out. 85 to 6 teams come out of the West.
Hold up one second. Rudy, where are you on the Warriors right now? Because at first we were at the Super Bowl when the news broke about Jimmy Butler, and Stephen A. was like, I'm not moved. And then he came on Countdown and apologized and said I was wrong, and obviously thinks that they can make some noise or they're a contender, whichever term we want to use here. Do you believe in the Warriors? Do you feel like Jimmy Butler's a difference maker for them?
I do believe in them. I don't believe in them to be a championship contender this year, just based off of you know, they're smart players. Like, Jimmy's not your average player. He's kind of a plug-and-play player. He can play on both sides of the ball. But, you know, like people have said before, it takes time to be able to play with Steph Curry and know how to maximize that talent. Like, he's a talented player, and you know, Draymond has been that glue guy, and they can move it on quicker than usually. But, you know, I think it's going to take some time for that continuity, and they still need a couple more pieces, too.
What all they saying,